welcome aboard. Welcome to the man cave. With yours truly and my man Fonz here. Talking about things from a man's perspective. So welcome aboard, everyone. Make sure y'all like, share, comment the video after we finish chopping it up here. But outside of that, man, we'll go ahead and jump right into the topic. So the topic today is men and grief coping with loss.
Mm.
Something that we all face in different ways depending on the situation. Most of the time is about maybe you losing someone or losing something. Um, but anyways, I want to kind of break down each. I went through and broke down each word in this segment. So men, traditional gender roles that often emphasize traits like strength, leadership, dominance, and being the primary breadwinner, acting as the protector and provider within a family unit or in society. All right. So everybody know, we men talking about men. We already knew that. Grief
Mhm.
is, of course, is deep sorrow. Um, coping is dealing effectively with something difficult. Loss is the fact or process of losing something or someone. So I wanted to go through each word and provide definitions because to me it's important we know the expectations versus the reality.
Mm.
The first word defined is men, the dominant gender, whose expectations is to always present strength and dominance over any situation, good or bad. Okay. Grief, of course, in my opinion, is sort of a word of emotions, but sometimes it's something that you cannot recognize because there's so many different variations of it.
Right.
In fact, grieving is a very personal process that varies person by person, but it can be hard to ignore the expectations of others. Um, and people often expect the mourners to return regular life before they ready. So
Mhm.
they want you to be all right with it or get over it quicker than what the reality is. So my whole message really, and of course, I'm sorry, cope is dealing effectively with something difficult. The fact of the fact or process of losing something to someone. So the expectations versus the reality, especially for men in the world, is unrealistic. Let's just be real. I think it's unrealistic. You're frowned upon when you show emotion, fellas, in the world that we live in. They want us to remain strong and not show any signs of weakness. And I say all that to say I believe us men should do a better job at communicating how we feel. I'm not saying, go out here and cry a river, but at least express yourself in a way where other people may be able to help you along the way. Cause a lot of times I speak for myself, I don't really show my emotion. I rather deal with it within myself. But sometimes you know my persona isn't the same as it would be if everything was okay. So people can kind of see it more than I'm think I'm showing it.
Right.
Sometimes you don't even realize that you may just be in a bad mood all the time, or you ain't very talkative as much. And people realize that. But then when people ask us what's wrong, we be like, oh, it's good. It'll be all right, whatever, whatever. But really, in reality, it's killing you, man. It's breaking you down. You trying to keep it G,
Mm.
and it's like, man, I'm trying to keep it G. I'm trying to keep my composure, but it's driving you up the wall. So I think we should do a better job at communicating how we feel. Because most of the times, man, we carry the burden. of
Yep.
whatever we may be going through, because we figure, eventually, we'll get over it. We don't want to show that we actually heard about it. But in a sense, I believe it affects us more than anything, especially the mental. It affects your mental when you're trying to carry something, trying to do it on your own and be that strong man that, everybody is expecting you to be and that you may expect yourself to be. But the reality of it is, man, that you're struggling. So I'm coming from a place of it's okay to not be okay, and communicate and make sure that you express that to your loved ones. And I ain't, like I said, I ain't saying go out here to your boss, pull him in the office and break down, but I'm just saying it's important, man, that we express ourselves because I really think that to have to mask your feelings is just as as bad as expressing or experiencing it at the time. So sometimes just getting things off your chest is a relief. So that's
Mm.
that's my message to the men folks, man. We gonna go through losses. Something gonna happen. We might lose someone. We might lose your house. You might lose anything, but just know that it's people out here that actually love you and will help you. And as long as you communicate that, and you communicate as a man, like I said, you ain't got to be an emotional wreck, but just let people know what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Especially to your loved ones. Really, I'm talking about your loved ones. I ain't saying tell your business out, to any and everybody.
Yeah.
But for the ones that really have your best interest at heart, I think it's important for them to be there for you and for you to let them know how you feeling, man, because it might be something that they can be willing to go through with you, So that's my message, man. That's what I got to say about it.
I mean, that was man. This has been the man cave. Golly. But just to piggyback off for just a little bit, like with grief, like personally, I'm still grieving.
Hmm.
With the loss factor, like my grandmother was she was basically my mom, if that makes sense. And for her to leave like that, I'm like, yo. And for a while, I wasn't right. I mean, especially the first year, um, a song would come on, or somebody would say something that sound like her, you know, and it breaks me it breaks me down.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I had to go through a lot. It's 5 stages of grief. Don't get me wrong. It's 5 stages of it. I had to go through all of them. Sometimes multiple times.
Hmm.
Uh, the first one, denial. That was like, no, she's not gone. She gonna be all right. She gonna come out the hospital and everything. Good as new.
Right. Yeah.
Anger. I ain't gonna lie. I was mad.
Hmm.
Like all these people who deserve to leave here,
Right.
and you take her type stuff.
Right. Yeah.
The bargaining, I ain't really deal with the bargaining point like that. Take me instead. No, I wasn't dealing with that part. But the depression, yeah, that
Right.
depression is real. But to cope with it, I really had to do things that takes my mind off of it, as well as talk to somebody who experienced the same type of grief.
Grief. Yeah.
Now, how did you come out of it? Because I don't see a way right now.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and like you were saying, it's okay to grieve. I mean, but as men, we've been conditioned that we
Right.
can't cry.
Right.
We
Yeah.
can't. I'm sorry, but sometimes I be in my office and I think about my grandmother or other people that I've lost along the way, and I break down, and afterwards I feel better.
Right. Yeah.
And let's talk about the loved ones. You got some like you said, and I'm trying to go remember all of your points. The biggest point that stuck out to me is as a man, we are symbols of strength, and we can't be vulnerable. We can't be, we got to be, as they say, macho all the time. But
Right.
here's the thing that bothers me about that, and I know where it comes from. We all know where it comes from. But the minute we stay up there with the mendacity, y'all call it toxic.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get it,
I
man.
don't get it. It's like we cannot win for losing. If we
Nope.
be vulnerable, you say we being sassy. And if we being straight 100% masculine, you say we being toxic. Which one?
I don't know what they want, buddy. Mm.
And I say this to all the bros. Do you. It's okay to cry. It's
Right.
okay to be vulnerable.
Right.
But you got to choose who to be vulnerable with. You got to guard your feelings. You got to guard your emotions. And you got to guard your peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody else is going to guard it for you.
Right.
But getting back to the grief, there's ways we can cope with it. The first thing, it's okay to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to go get somebody to talk to. I'm looking into that myself.
Mm.
Because let me see. November 26th, 2023 to December 15th, 2024. I didn't even visit her grave.
Mm.
And I went there because we were celebrating her birthday. Her birthday was on December 17th. Everybody's working, so we all couldn't get together. So that Sunday was the only time we'd be able to do something in remembrance of. We had a balloon release ceremony for Grandma, and that was the first time I went to her grave since I left her there.
Right.
That was a big step for me because the way where we lived at, of course, it's out there in the country.
Right.
It's in the sticks, ladies and gentlemen. Berkeley County. Hey, I love you, but come on, let's call it what it is. Y'all country, we country. It don't even matter.
Right.
But the way our family cemetery is, like, you got the family house, and maybe further down the path, it's the family cemetery, and I will go no further than the house. I will stand out in the yard and look at the cemetery and try to convince myself to go up there, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So therapy, I feel like it's gonna be a good thing because I'm still not over it yet. Another thing is, have some you time. It's okay. Don't you let none of these heifers tell you can't play your PlayStation. That's yours. Hopefully you paid for it and you staying in your own house.
Yeah, I will hope.
I would hope. So, take some time out for you. Whatever, do activities that, make you feel good. Fishing. That's something that makes me feel great. Playing the game. Yeah, I'm about 40, but I still play. I dabble a little bit. I don't do it like I used to, but I and then just doing what you do.
Yeah. Do whatever.
Because you don't want to, I get that, there's times you're going to have to grieve. Because there's things that are guaranteed in this life. If you're born, you got some guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
And death is the main one.
Yeah.
So just take out time for yourself. Travel. That's what I had to do. I traveled a lot this past year just to get out and get away from the norm.
Yeah, yeah.
And just, instead of remembering the bad, especially if you was there when your loved one passed, or, especially you had to go through that divorce or things of that nature that kind of took you, remember the good qualities. For me, when it come down to my grandmother, I remember some of the funny stuff she say. Like, she used to pick on me all the time, and I used to pick on her back. Because that's the type of relationship we had.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell anybody, can nobody make no peach cobbler like my grandma? And I got a recipe sitting somewhere on one of these devices. I got a recipe there. I'm gonna try my best to do it this year. But remember the good, Hold on to the good memories.
Right.
And like it's like my man said, don't go pull your boss in there. You know, just break down. I mean, I'm not gonna say don't do that because sometimes it gets so overwhelming that
Right.
somebody sees you, and then your boss like, look, I need you to talk. I need to talk to you for a second. Is everything okay? Then you just break down. You can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it.
You
Yeah.
you can't help it right there. But don't just one day walk in there. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
But
I ain't gonna lie, man. Well, my grandfather recently passed on my dad's side. At
mhm.
least I looked at him as my grandfather. He
Sorry about that, people.
recently passed away a few weeks ago,
Hmm.
and I was at work when I got the call because so I was at work when I got the call or whatever, and I figured I was gonna go back out there and work. I was trying to
Yeah,
stay away from that thing,
yeah.
and all thing it took for one of my coworkers to come up to me and say, "I'm so sorry for your loss." And I broke down from there. I broke down from there. I had to go. I had to go. So I ended
Had
up
to go
leaving at
hold it.
that time. So then, after I got myself together, you know, made a few phone calls, got myself together. I ended up, coming back to work a few hours later, just to keep my mind off of there and keep my mind busy.
Hmm.
Um, and I did end up coming back, but my whole message, my whole thesis on this topic is just know that you ain't got to do this alone, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
There's
facts.
help out here for you. You got loved ones, you got therapists, you got, you really got yourself, like like Fawn said, personal time, spending time with yourself, licking your own wounds sometimes is good as well, depending on, how well you are at managing yourself, because everybody
Hmm.
cannot do that. But depending on the strength of your mentality determines that. But just know that we all deal with it, man. Forget what the critics say. Forget what the society say. Forget what some of the women folks say. If I'm being real, we human, man. Whether we man, female, whatever you want to claim yourself to be, we all human. We have emotions, man. We go through things. So don't be blinded by what society expects you to be, because that's not the reality of what really happens in this thing we call life. Life
Hmm.
throws you different challenges every single day. There's a challenge waiting for you around the corner in the next few weeks. And you mean to tell me that something hit me on my chest? I I just supposed to stop, just keep breathing and walk through it. No, man, when somebody hits you in your chest, you just to pause there. There's an effect there. You feel that, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
it's no such thing. Don't focus so much on ignoring your emotions. Don't think you'll just get over it, man, because that ain't true, man.
It's
Like I
not.
said, men, we carry so many burdens, man. I'm not gonna lie, I applaud the men folks, because it's a lot of us out here that's dealing with a lot of things, lot of things from a lot of different variations of situations.
And dealing in silence.
What we handle it in silence, you know what I mean? And I understand that, and I applaud that. But my only concern is your mental state, because sometimes you can handle things so well, it'll flip your doggone brain crazy. You know what I mean? You won't even know that you done went crazy,
Hmm.
because you so busy on trying to be the soldier. You over here trying to be Captain Price off of Call of Duty, and you don't even know that you're struggling, man. So I mean, this message to me really hit home, because it's a common thing. I haven't lost. I mean, I took a few losses as far as like family members.
Hmm.
Nobody yet that has raised me, or nothing of that significant. But I know already, I prepare myself mentally with knowing that I'm gonna need some help. I don't know
Yeah.
how I'm gonna cope with it. I don't know what is gonna happen. So I'm already knowing that I'm gonna need some help, man. And it's
Mm.
okay. It's okay to know that you're gonna need help when certain situations happen. So just man, forget what society crazy, man. They're trying to tear us down, man. But like, look at
Society is so wacky
I'm trying to
that
tell you,
y'all know what it is. I could I can say a lot, but it's wacky, man. But
it's wacky. And
yeah,
society, especially with the way the generation is being brought up and everything is the society expectations of what they want men to be is just very unrealistic.
it is.
So
And
ignore
then
that
and then let's think about the kids that we got now. You know, especially us that got the young kids.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta teach them that it's okay.
right.
Like I had to check myself, and I'm being real transparent. I had to check myself the other day with my son because I said to him, "Why are you crying? You a boy." And I was like, "Oh no, I ain't supposed to do that because he has emotions too."
Right.
And then on top of that, yeah, he could say some words, but he cannot fully articulate what's on his mind.
Hmm.
So I had to pump my brakes a little bit. Yeah, I want my son to be tough. I want him to be built forward tough, but at the same time, he got to know how to be vulnerable as well. So for the youngins, especially us bros that got kids, man, let's train our kids right when it comes down to processing and handling our emotions.
Right.
Um,
Teaching, man,
we
man.
we would get rid of a lot of these crash outs
Yeah. Right.
if we
Yeah.
teach our sons
That's the problem right there.
and our daughters how to process their emotions and proper
Yep.
conflict resolution.
Yep. That's the problem. That's hey, you said a mouthful right there because
You ready to crash out over what?
I mean, I mean, ready to pull out the nine on them. I
these,
mean,
these YNs, bro.
that's what it comes from, man. Hey,
And I don't want to be controversial, but I got to be. I know we all know where it comes from. We already know where it comes from. I ain't gonna go. I ain't if we'll probably do the episode later, but we know where that comes from. And my thing is, this is the plea to all the fathers that's not there, especially if you got these sons. Because I'm tired of looking at the news and seeing another one of our kids being arrested or sent to jail or going to prison because they done crashed out.
mm-hmm.
Teach them,
That's exactly what.
please.
Yeah.
This it's been going on too long, man. It's been going on too long. Teach these boys, man.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to turn them into a small version of you.
Mm.
Teach them to be better than you.
And to be themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, be who they gonna be.
I
That's
don't I don't want my son to be me.
right.
I don't want him to be me. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest person ever, but I don't want him to be me. I don't want him to make the same mistakes I had to make to get to where I am now.
Right.
I want him to get it at his first opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I painstaking. One thing about it, I told my wife, I said, I don't care what happens between us. You will not take my son out of my life. Cause then you're gonna see a bad day, as my man from across the street used to say. If
Yeah,
you hey,
that's crazy.
yo, if you live on 13th Street in Little Washington, you know.
God
You
knows.
know.
I know firsthand.
You see
Oh
the
man,
bad day.
be the bad boy.
Hey man, hey.
Hey,
We got stories for days.
you know.
If you
But
know, you know, man. We
yeah,
got stories for days.
yeah,
But at the same time, man, like I feel like it's important, uh, especially our boys, to be in their lives, man.
yeah. No,
Stop
no,
raising these crash outs.
know how to handle things from as a man. Handle things and stop letting small conflicts with others turn you into this person that you really not. You know you ain't built like that, son.
97% of the time, bruh, they not really about it.
Oh, they not. They
Cause what's
just
the first thing they go do when they feel like they've been disrespected? We had to fight. As kids, we had to fight. Okay,
right.
that's a part of growing up. We get that. But now these boys going out. I don't know how they getting them, putting their hands on stuff they shouldn't put their hands on, and trying to say they trying to settle something. And I'm like, bruh, we scared. Anyway,
I don't know
teach these boys
how to handle
how
stuff.
to handle themselves the right way. That's the best
Right.
I can give you.
That's the best. But like we said before, we'll say it again. Really, the main thing is knowing that if you're going through something, there's help out here for you. Don't do
Always.
nothing crazy, and also teach others that it's okay to be in a bad situation or in a bad space, as long as you can communicate that you being like you said, the 5 phases of coping or grief
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is acceptance. You know, knowing that you're in a place where you need either some time to yourself or just help from somebody else. You know, stop letting every little thing turn into 9/11,
Exactly.
and just chill, man. It's okay. You need to stop listening to what people expect you to be, because 9 times out of 10, if they was in your situation, they wouldn't be able to handle it like you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, being that you done been so silent about it and quiet about it, and you just been carrying it, they won't be able to do that. So don't let nobody else dictate the way they feel you should handle things.
Mm-hmm.
Handle it in the best way, in your best, in your best interest, in your own interest.
That's
You
it.
know, so that's it, man.
That's it. And on that note, we can go ahead and mosey up out of here. I mean, but
Mhm.
as always, let us know in the comments, man, what y'all think about this. How do you handle grief? And what are some suggestions that you can pass along to help with the situation? I mean, and then even with this, like my man said, y'all ain't alone out there. We're trying to build a community to support each other.
Yeah,
Because
man. Let's talk about it.
I mean, for real, we always here.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go ahead and break them out of here, man. This has been the Man Cave, where we talk about man problems from a real man perspective. So we out of here, y'all.
Peace.